And because we're nonprofit, we don't really have a success tied to that financially. So we want to partner with someone that would like to take the work we've done in a nonprofit world and partner to get it through into clinical trial, and they can profit on it.
BioNeex is the first biopharma R&D open exchange platform for licensing and co-development partnerships of drug candidates. We are working closely with biopharmaceutical companies that are actively seeking preclinical and clinical stage drug candidates for in-licensing and co-development partnerships to expand their R&D pipelines. If you are a development stage biotech company and are looking for licensing and co-development partners for your drug candidates, then list them for free on BioNeex and get contacted directly by these biopharmaceutical companies. We are already working with many partners. Would you like to learn more about BioNeex? Feel free to get in touch with us. We look forward to working with you.
Hello everyone, we are back again with BioNeex interview. Today our guest is co-founder and CEO of Odylia Therapeutics, Scott Dorfman. Hello Scott, it's great to having you today at our BioNeex interview.
Well, great. I appreciate you inviting me and look forward to talking with you.
Thank you. Odylia Therapeutics is a nonprofit organization to accelerate the development of gene therapies for people with rare diseases. Please tell us more about the organization and what makes it so unique.
Well, it's probably, from what we can tell, the only nonprofit or not-for-profit biotech company in the world. And what the distinction really is that we do this for just the benefit of the rare disease community. We don't lose our way because of shareholders or investment conflicts. So we're a nonprofit organization because we're really looking after the rare diseases that the commercial sponsors don't necessarily want to go to. And so our model is to take our skill set of being able to take rare disease to clinical trial, generally with gene therapy, take that and then de-risk it so that at the end of the day, it becomes more attractive for a small pharma company to be able to say, hey, this is one we want to invest in, even though the prevalence of that might not be something that they'd originally want to do a lot of the earlier preclinical work. So we use philanthropy and some of our current resources to fund some of the early stage preclinical work until we get it to closer to an IND submission. And then we become really attractive for smaller biotech companies and even larger ones that want to take on a smaller prevalence disease.
Very interesting. So it sounds like for me, you guys are taking this heavy lifting when the asset in a very early stage, in the preclinical stage, especially in rare diseases, is not really for profit oriented companies really interesting, right? You do this heavy lifting moving forward, and then once it becomes more financially interesting, business interest, then you kind of give it to the next company, right?
Correct. I mean, the mission of the company is really strictly to get rare disease that wouldn't have gotten to clinic over to the finish line. So just because the prevalence is 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 in the world, that's generally a low threshold for a biotech company to take, because the financial reward is, does not outweigh the risk of investing money early on. So we use a variety of things. One is we start with the patient organizations. If there is a detailed one, we'll guide them, work with them to get their science and guide them in the right spot. And then we'll apply some of the patient advocacy money as well as our own money and philanthropy that we've raised to finish out the preclinical early studies so that it gets closer to an IND submission, and then we have a network of biotech and pharma companies that are for profit that want to now engage on something they wouldn't have engaged in earlier.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Scott. Can you tell us a little bit more about your proprietary technology and current drug development pipeline, and in which indications are there in particularly?
Yeah, there's a few I can talk about and a few I can't yet, but the two primary targets that we have active right now are both in the ocular space. One is RP-GRIP1, which is an LCA disease which causes blindness early in life. We're far along in the preclinical work. We're hoping to file an IND submission by the end of the year. And in that particular case, we've de-risked it tremendously. We're at that final stage, still looking for a financial partner in the pharma world. So we've been out looking for that as well. But in the meantime, we're using our own resources to continue the preclinical work. We have another one that's probably, I'd say, 6 to 8 months behind that we're doing in an international consortium. The work is being done. It's being led by Odylia, but the scientific work is primarily being done in Germany, UK, as well as Czech Republic, where we have a large pig model, and it's that we created through Odylia, which is the first true phenotypical RP or retinitis pigmentosa pig model, large animal model in the world. So we're really excited about that, and we're building that herd, and we're now starting to test vectors and other gene therapies against the model itself. So those are the two that are the furthest along. We also work with 4 or 5 direct patient organizations that we are actually helping them in their preclinical work on their targets, and can't really disclose which ones those are. But we have about a 7 target pipeline currently.
Mm-hmm. So are there any proprietary technology that you have as a platform technology, which we like to call in a biotech industry, or are you also getting your early stage assets maybe from universities? Can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I probably should back up a little bit on the founding of Odylia and where it came from. So I was originally in business and ran a large internet company, e-commerce company that was international and traded publicly on NASDAQ. I sold that to raise money for rare disease because I do have two children with rare disease, 2 of my 5 children, and ended up starting Odylia with a co-founder, Luke Vandenberg, out of Harvard and Mass Ioneer. And in part of the agreement that we put together when we decided to start the company was that Mass Ioneer would contribute IP to us. So we have a vector, a novel vector that was invented by Luke Vandenberg, and who's well known in the space, called ANC80. And we've been given the proprietary rights, exclusive rights for under 3,000 prevalence in the United States. So anything with rare disease under ANC80, especially in the ocular space, we have exclusive rights to be able to use that. We can also have some rights outside the ocular area, depending upon within our prevalence model. But it's a true novel vector that is early stage, so it has protection, as well as we found that expression in most of the not only ocular organs, but ocular areas like the retina, photoreceptors, mutable glia cells, but also in some of the systemic organs like liver. It really expresses as much better expression than typical vectors.
Mm-hmm. So knowing your business model that you always want to license out or move to the next stage to other companies, are you currently looking for licensing or co-development partners at this stage, and who would be for you an ideal partner?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we would love to see our investments and hard work in the rare disease spot be able to translate into a pharmaceutical company or biotech company that wants to take our licensing under ANC80 and be able to utilize it at a very attractive rate, because we're nonprofit, so we don't have shareholders, which means we're not reliant on having to pay them back. So really our only goal as a nonprofit is to move the rare disease into the clinic and get it into humans. So if we can partner, and typically like a mid to small level pharma company, biotech company is perfect for us because we have the expertise. Within Odylia, that's what we do. We know how to move through the regulatory environment. We know how to do the preclinical work. We know what resources to bring together, and we've done it. And so we can really apply a lot of expertise to a small biotech that hasn't been in the rare diseases much or into gene therapy, and assist them in getting over the finish line at a much more efficient and attractive rate.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Scott. I want to inform our audience that Odylia Therapeutics therapeutic candidate, which is in ophthalmology in a rare disease, is currently listed on BioNeex, and we want to encourage all our mid-size and small size, but also larger pharma companies to access and to get directly in touch with Odylia Therapeutics business development team. So please welcome. And Scott, my question to you, why you believe in this case BioNeex can help you on your BD activities?
Well, it's, I'm excited, and we've been trying to get this on schedule for a while, as you know, in my travel and your travel has been difficult, but I've been really excited to speak to you because BioNeex is giving us some exposure internationally that we have some, but this is your platform seems to be perfect for the targets that we're going after and your associated people. So we're extremely excited about being part of it, and we'll have you on our website as well as a partner.
Thank you, Scott. Much appreciated. Also, it's great to having your company on the platform. So as a CEO, what's the next milestone that you are pushing the team towards to reach?
That's a perfect question, and one I can answer very easily. So we want to get this first disease into an IND submission and prove the model out that we can actually take a rare disease that nobody really cared about and take it through the preclinical space and get it de-risked effectively and efficiently, and then get an IND submission, and then have a financial sponsor come in and pick it up on a de-risked model and take it into humans and cure somebody. So that's we're close to it. We're really close. So hopefully in the next year, we can report back that we've done it. And if we do, we have a whole line behind that we can use on the platform to move forward.
Maybe you can also tell a little bit about your past success story which is already press released. I think you did with PTC Pharmaceuticals a deal. Can you talk a little bit about more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, PTC is been a great partner for us, and they took on one of our targets early on, invested heavily in it, and partnered with us to bring it forward into a de-risk model to where we have it now. And it's actually the RP Grip 1 model that's ready to go forward. They have gone as far as we agreed to go with it, which is get it all the way into late stage preclinical. And now we're looking for the final partner that wants to take it over the line and into the IND submission. So yeah, they used our proprietary ANC80 vector and did all the tox work, the preclinical, and then gave us back all the data for us to then find the partner to take it into the clinical side.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So as a nonprofit organization, you really need a good funding, I guess, to do this heavy lifting. Can you tell us a little bit more what's your current funding situation and what's the next round? Who would be an ideal, partners for you to bring additional funding into the organization?
Yeah, great question. And I appreciate that. So currently we are from an operations standpoint, we're in great shape. So through our initial stakeholders, contributions and funding of the company, as well as the philanthropy that we've had around it, our board support, PTC and some other corporate sponsors that have sponsored us, we have several years worth of operational runway already built in. Where we need help and where we need to is in other corporate sponsors or partners is to come in and help us take that preclinical work over into the IND stage. Once we get into the clinical side, things get really expensive. And because we're nonprofit, we don't really have a success tied to that financially. So we want to partner with someone that would like to take the work we've done in a nonprofit world and partner to get it through into clinical trial, and they can profit on it. Because we don't have a problem with a partner profiting. We just don't. We just want to see it get through. So we're trying to be the enabler so that a for-profit company has more reason and less risk to come in and take one that they might not have taken before and bring it into human trials.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. It's great to hear that there's people behind of that, organizations that supporting such a noble work that you are driving with Odylia Therapeutics. Congratulations for having that network also, and the trust, of course, of the people. And would be great if you could also talk a little bit about the long-term vision of the Odylia Therapeutics, Scott.
Yeah, and today we're in primarily, and not exclusively, but primarily in the ocular space with gene therapy. We do have some programs that we're working outside that space in some more systemic diseases, central nervous system and others like that, but we're not as far along with those. But what our vision and our ultimate goal is to create this pathway, so to speak, for being able to bring these rare diseases into the fold and de-risk them, so that it's not just ocular. If it's a heart issue, it's a liver issue. I mentioned to you that I'm going to be in Germany at the end of the month. I'm meeting with another foundation that has a gene therapy for a heart disorder for children. Not in our space, but we're trying to help them out. And so that's our mission. So what we would love to be is sort of ubiquitous to what system or organ it is, and be able to build a roadmap for everyone to be able to take their rare disease or a rare disease that's affecting people negatively and be able to find a path into the clinic. Because there's a tremendous amount of current targets or diseases that we call they're orphaned. They're truly orphaned because nobody wants them, because they can't make money on them. So our job and our mission is to figure out a pathway to incent those companies to finally take them on by de-risking them. So that's our vision. Our ultimate goal is, how do we get there? How do we build these early pathways? Working with guys like you and your company is helpful because it gives us the exposure we need. And once we are able to prove it out on multiple levels, we're going to have built that roadmap for a lot of diseases to come through.
So as I understand, Odylia Therapeutics is just started with ophthalmology diseases, but it's really having a vision to go through any possible other rare diseases that you said truly are orphan, and nobody really want to, as a profit organization company, go after. And this is where you guys are coming in the world, right?
Right. And our team, we actually have experience outside ocular as well. So we have CNS and other some of our other scientists within the organization have experience in other areas, medical writing, all kinds of resources that we can apply. But right now, I'm focused, and the company is focused on getting that first one through and proving out that we can do it inexpensively, and then attract pharma companies that want to de-risk the program. And then once that happens, wherever we can help, we're going to bring it through.
Thank you, Scott. We are approaching the end of our interview. I really want to ask, is there anything that you could tell our audience that I didn't get a chance to ask you?
Well, I would tell you that go to both our websites. I know we're linked together and as partners, and we're on the platform. So please go there, look up Odylia. We're in a variety of different ways. You can help as a biotech or a pharma company by taking on a target. You can help us as a nonprofit and really just help bring one of our preclinical work through. If you want to do that, we look for volunteers. We have a staff, but we also have a volunteer network that's very helpful. So any of those things are great, and you use the platform to find us and stay up to date with us.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you very much for this great discussion. It was a pleasure to talking to you.
Okay, and great to speaking with you, and hopefully we'll get to see each other either in Europe or in the United States.
Thank you. Looking forward for it. And I want to remind once again our audience that our guest today at BioNeex interview was the co-founder and CEO of Odylia Therapeutics. Odylia Therapeutics is a non-profit organization that has development in rare diseases, in gene therapy, where there is nobody really want to go. And thank you once again, and stay tuned. We will come again with another BioNeex interview.